What's going on, everyone? This is your daily reminder that tomorrow never comes. My name's Encore, and I wanted to take you through something that happened to me just yesterday. You guys, if you clicked on this link, on this video, you guys understand or have some kind of idea that some money was made somehow, some way, and it had to do with Tom Brady. So I want to get into what happened, the specifics, and just kind of ideas for you guys and for you and what you can do in the space and how to go about kind of enjoying yourselves while you do it. So I am I'm a sports fanatic, and football, hockey, you name it, either I've played it or been involved in it somehow. So Tom Brady, and why I say he's my GOAT, that means he's the greatest of all time. There's a debate about it. Tom Brady's a quarterback in the National Football League. He's won 7 championships and just recently retired. But what does that have to do with NFTs? So while he was playing, Brady's actually come up with a company called Autograph.io that was releasing sports-related NFTs. Sports-related NFTs. So because of his name, his reputation, he was attracting stars like Derek Jeter, Rob Gronkowski, Usain Bolt, all different types of athletes. And it was specifically for sports, and that's how I got involved with it. Wayne Gretzky is where I actually started collecting NFTs on this platform. And so he's a founder of this company, and he oversees, from a high level, and his name power will draw people to him. So they are actually linked with a company called DraftKings. DraftKings provides the marketplace where you can kind of sell these off and even buy some NFTs that come released. But the way that it works is that they will release editions for a specific player, a specific athlete. And now they've branched off to non-sports related things. But whoever it is, and we're going to stick to Tom Brady, is he will come out with an original edition, and then there'll be another edition, and things will be a little bit different and nuanced in each one. But generally how it works is that there are tiers to it. So you're going to have carbon, platinum level, emerald, sapphire, and ruby. And as you go up, things become more scarce. So the collections are less within that tier. Makes it more expensive, and usually signed or not signed comes with it, right? So they're signed NFTs. So what they did was, after they released their first collection, and how it works is, if you own a collection for anybody, the next edition that comes out, you usually get first rights to that. And they do it in a very interesting way. It's something called a mystery container. So what they'll do is they'll still release this to the public, but 2 days before or a day before, if you hold an NFT of that same person, the same athlete, or that same overarching collection, you will get access to a mystery container where it is exactly what it says it is. It's a mystery. You have no idea which NFT you're going to get in there, from which tier. None. And so, and what happens is these are very cheap in comparison to the NFTs themselves. This is $60 US. So, if you compare that to a Ruby stature for Tom Brady, Ruby can be, someone going for $100,000, $15,000, $10,000. So, pretty big jackpot can be hit from just this mystery container. But this was the first one that I had actually gone through. This was the first one that I had experience with, and really didn't know what was going to happen with it. I just realized that I've bought Tom Brady's NFTs before, and they were more expensive than a $60 US mystery container. So bought several of them. And so the way they played this one out is, this was more of a collection within a collection, right? So this edition had 5 different NFTs to make up one collection, one set. But the tiers still stayed the same. So you would get carbon, platinum, emerald, sapphire, ruby, and ruby being the top tier. Okay, and ruby would have only 29 of the final prize that came from collecting this. So that was another wrinkle that they did, was instead of just having the exact same NFT but with a little twist, so it's signed, or there's there's less of them in a certain collection, which is what they had in their first one. They came out with 5 different NFTs with 5 different tiers. So you can imagine the options people had. And so even within the edition here, so you guys can see there's a timer here, there's some cleats here, football cleats, there's a jersey, there's a draft card, and there's his college resume. So this entire set was geared towards him entering the NFL, that stage in his career, in his life. And so out of the 5, the jersey was by far the most sought after and preeminent NFT within the edition. Okay, so remember, carbon's the bottom, ruby's the top, right? And then within the collection itself, the jersey is the most expensive, the most sought after. Okay, for me, what happened was I bought several mystery containers. Some nothing came of them, some even were duplicates, but one of them came out as that ruby jersey that you see in the middle here. So again, most expensive tier, most scarce item, and most sought after item within the edition, which is the jersey. That came from $60 mystery container. And that alone, that jersey alone was selling for maybe 5, maybe even up to 7,000-8,000 US on its own. So what they did was they said, okay, we're not going to just keep it here where you have one NFT, or even if you collect the NFTs, that's on you. The incentive was that if you collected all 5, and this happened in every tier, if you collected all 5, you would get a video NFT of a Tom Brady statue. Now each tier, the statue would be different, and it would be laser beamed as if it's being created from scratch, and that would just continue on loop. So some would be signed, some were not. So again, Ruby, you know you're going to get the best one possible, right? The best pose, the best image, and signed. And there's only 29 of them. So and then what they do is they will give you a time period. They will say, okay, you only have a small window to collect all of these in order to be eligible for this statue. So you can imagine my surprise when I get the most sought after, the most expensive one in my mystery container. So then the question is, do you sell this jersey on its own, call it quits, and you're good to go? Or do you try and collect the whole thing, kind of take a gamble? I mean, it's an educated gamble, but it's still a gamble on the statue and see what you can get from that. So of course I went with option B, right? I mean, if I have the most expensive item and it costs me I think it costs around $6,000 in total to get the other 4, and my item alone is $6,000. Seemed as a no-brainer at the time. So I collected all the other 4. Now I've spent $6,000 US, and I get a statue. And so my thinking was I'm going to sell all 5 because there was still value in this being the top tier. The jersey was still highly sought after, just not the prices it was at. And so I actually sold all 5 for $6,000 or so and broke even. So that was it. I have a statue, that's mine, that's at the top tier. There's only 29 of them and it's signed. And I'm at break even. So whatever I sell this statue at, that's all my profit. So that was a very methodical choice I made, very deliberate choice I made, because there was no loss after that. If it never sold, it never sold. And that's in my possession. I like Tom Brady. We're good to go. If it sells, great. That's all mine. So what ended up happening, and I'm going to show you guys. So this is the statue here. Okay, now I took a still picture here, but this rotates, and this machine here is the robot that's creating this image from scratch, right? So from the bottom all the way up, and he has a different pose, and it's signed, and there's only 29 of them. So very, very interesting NFT. I like the player. I love the player. He was my greatest of all time, even before all this. But hey, everyone still has their debate, right, of who they think is their best. So lo and behold, he retires. And it was kind of a shock to everyone. Maybe not everyone, but the general public. He had played so well. He was still in his prime. He's still playing, at an extremely high level. I didn't see that come. And so what would actually ended up happening was I had the mindset that even though I was okay with not making a penny off of the statue because I broke even, but the mentality was I want to sell this for a profit. And so there were a few others within that 29 collection who seemed to want to do the same thing. So it ended up kind of being an undercutting game, right? It was like, it was just getting ridiculous that who was trying to sell undercutting somebody else. And so I got tired of it. And so I left my price as is and kind of wiped my hands clean, and that's it. And so Brady ends up retiring. And it clicked for me like, hey, at one point in time it clicked, maybe I should go back and check and kind of raise the price. But don't worry about it, get to it some other time. And I had no idea that after a certain period of time, someone actually purchased the NFT that I had listed. By no means am I crying over it. By no means do I feel any type of way except ecstatic over this happening. Okay? So here's exactly what happened. So I had listed this NFT here for essentially 20,000 US. I had number 5 of 29, and you can see, right, now these prices were not there when I first listed it. They had bumped them up after he had retired. So 50,000, 80,000. This individual has 2 of them. And so one is astronomical, meaning I'm going to keep it unless someone pays me a ridiculous amount. And this one, even though some may think it's ridiculous, is in line with everybody else now. So those are the prices set there. Are they going to hit them? Maybe not. The issue here that most people don't realize is as soon as the next edition comes out, everything here becomes less valuable because now you have a new collection, something more recent. So, I mean, it's not guaranteed that it does, but from what I've seen on the platform, that typically is what happens. But anyways, forget all that. They can get whatever they want. I'm happy with one that ended up happening here. So I check, I look, it's no longer in my portfolio, and I check over here and I say, oh, okay, someone actually paid the price of $19,999. Okay, someone paid me 20,000 US dollars for a Brady NFT. Remember, I have broken even already. Whatever I get off of this is completely all mine. It's profit. And so I'm going to show you here. So now with Autograph.io and DraftKings working together, they take cuts, right? They take a piece, a royalty of it, maybe 1.5%, somewhere along those lines. And so after all the fees, I'm left with about 17,000 US from 20,000. And some may say those fees are high, but remember, I'm at break even already. So I've just made $17,000 on a Brady NFT. Okay, let that sink in. So for me, you know, I've heard people paying 100,000 or getting paid or $1 million or 500,000, but that's always somebody else. That's always, it's not me, right? This is kind of in the same vein as when someone hears about a lottery being won, or they went to the casino and someone on the slot machine won a bunch of money. That's kind of what I attribute it to, even though that's not what NFTs are. And this reinforces the value of a community around an NFT. So this isn't just some, hey, I don't know what this is, a stick figure, I'm gonna pay for it. It's a community around here, right? It's valuable, it's culture, it's social identity. You identify yourself with these NFTs and it means something to you. But this can be the result. This can even be on the lower end of the result if you see the rest of the price points. So I just want to stress that I'm a huge proponent of NFTs. I'm a huge fan. And if you guys watch anything on my channel, you'll know that. And I want to send some take-home messages. The take-home message is try different platforms. You have things like OpenSea. You have things like Autograph.io. You will have, you know, all these different types of platforms with different types of NFTs. And I encourage you, not even just with NFTs, play in the crypto space, right? Dip your toe in. It's the only way you're going to learn. Reading's not going to teach you anything. So just jump in, play around, and see what works and what doesn't work, okay? But having said that, This is my second point here, is do not spend more than you are willing to lose, okay? Or you can afford to lose. It's not financial advice, of course. I just feel strongly about this. You guys can see I've shared the numbers with you of what is possible. And that is, is just one example of what is possible. There's options that are much, much better in terms of numeric value, bigger than what you see here. Okay, but this is a personal story. This is something that actually happened yesterday to me. Okay, that can be any one of you. Any one of you. But have to remember that I was okay with no one buying it at all. So you have to be okay that whatever you purchase, nobody buys it. Or no one buys it for the price that you think you can get for. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. And if they don't, you can't be in a position where everything you had was sunk into that NFT. Do not do that. All right. And that goes to my point of strategy. Are you looking to hold? Are you looking to flip? And if you're looking, and both of those are very, very different. I was willing to hold, even though I was okay with flipping. Right? So it's kind of the best of both worlds, but I wasn't dying over it to be flipped. So you kind of have to understand, what are you doing? What are you in it for? Are you okay with it not being sold? So that's very key. And listen, you gotta have fun. For me, sports is fun. Anything related to sports is fun. But now you're marrying crypto and sports together. That is ideal for me. But you got to find what's ideal for you. Otherwise, you're going to get bogged down in the information. Things are going to seem so frustrating. And there's nothing that's going to push you past that resistance that all of us face. Right? Trying to figure out how these transactions work, how to purchase one, how to sell one. You're going to get through some bumps and bruises along the way. But if you don't have that ultimate, I'm enjoying the process, it's going to be very difficult for you to see it out. So I just encourage you guys, have fun. Whether it's in NFTs, whether it's just buying the currencies themselves, whether it's doing decentralized finance things, whatever you're doing in this space, whatever you're trying to learn, whatever you're doing by dipping your toe in, enjoy the process. Man, it's such a new asset. It's a new sector. It's all fresh. So play around. So lastly for me, and I said, it's debatable by some that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, the GOAT. There is no chance for me that it is debatable. I already thought he was the greatest of all time before, but after this experience, I don't think you guys can blame me that for me, Tom Brady will always be the greatest of all time. So hopefully you guys had some fun with this. I wanted to share this with you guys. I wanted to share it with an audience that may be unsure about what NFTs are and can you even make any money off of them, right? And have fun doing it. So hopefully you guys found some value out of this. Make sure you guys like the video if you found value, subscribe, share the videos, put the notifications on, all that good stuff. And I can bring you guys some more content, and maybe, just maybe, there'll be more NFTs out there that will make this one look like a cup of coffee. That's the goal. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.